Okay, we live right now. Today is Saturday, 12 o'clock, 11:57, 2024, October 19th. We're doing pretty good. We will talk about other stuff later after we talk about the topic, but I do just want to just come on here and just talk to you about coffee. That's why we're here, right? And and in this case, we're talking about percolator. I do have a YouTube channel if you don't know already, and one of the subscribers on there, he loves percolators, and I used to use percolators quite a bit when I was doing my farmers market. I don't have that percolator anymore. I think it was a 40 cup, and he loves it. He raised by it, and it's interesting. Specialty coffee doesn't really talk about percolators as much as they should, because it's not a bad machine. It's really good, actually. It's more so hands off. It's easy to use, and then you can really get some really fantastic coffee out of it. So I think one of the things I do want to talk about right now, really kind of weird without my headphones, but we'll roll with it right now as we're doing this podcast for audio and also for video. So let's bring out the percolator that I have. I bought it off Amazon Prime Day. It was about $12. Original price is probably like, no, it was $10. Original price was like $12, $13. This is a 9 cup. Why does this thing come out? And we're going to talk about how cool it is. Okay. This is the top, and it has an indicator right here to let you know that the coffee is actually percolating. That's extremely important. If you can't see this, look up a percolator. If you want to see the video, look on the YouTube channel. But yeah, this is the percolator. This is the top of the basket in order to make sure that the coffee gets dispersed up on top. And then this is the basket right here that has holes, and then at the bottom, that's where the water comes through, and it essentially puts hot water over a coffee bed, and then it leaks out, and then it goes back down. So it's almost like a bath, so to speak, if you want to think about it that way. And then of course you put the water inside of here, and I've been doing 15-to-1 ratios on this right now, and it's been working out pretty well. Although it's mainly based off time. So once you get your percolator going, you just kind of wait. Once it's bubbling and everything is percolating and is moving and is doing its thing and everything, you kind of just wait. You just want to wait until it's done. And there's so many different things that you can do with that. We'll talk about that more in detail later. But I'm wondering why specialty coffee, they don't really talk about the percolator. I think the percolator is extremely easy to use. It gets out the way. I think you get a better cup of tasting coffee than the French press. And depending on the model or whatever one that you do get, they do make filters for it. So you don't even have to worry about doing it without the filters. But if you want to go ahead and brew your cup of coffee, you can go ahead and do it without the filter if you wanted to, and then probably filter it later on if that's more so your way that you like to do your coffee. Me personally, I like the filters. Filters are a lot better. I'm tasting the clarity, the awesomeness of the coffee. So let me talk about so yeah, why don't the specialty coffee community talk about percolators? I wonder about that. There's so many different brewers out there. Same thing when I was talking about this beforehand, and we talked about the Mr. Coffee machine. And the Mr. Coffee machine, I even said that's crap. It's not a really good machine, but after a while using it, I realized that it's actually a really good machine. And it's just the same thing with the other specialty coffee gadgets that we have. We have to approach it. We have to look at the pros and cons. We have to look at it to the point to where it's like, okay, how can we make good tasting coffee? For the most part, out the bat, we can, but what kind of parameters do we need to change in order to make the best cup of coffee that we can? And in this case, that's one of the things that I wonder about. Why are certain gears more praised than others? It's the same thing that I talked about with the AeroPress. AeroPress works fine. Actually, I'm getting a lot better with it lately, trying different recipes, trying to understand it even more so, coming back from it from more of a objective type of flow or position. But why do we pick certain gears over others? Like espresso is pretty high, pour over is pretty high. And then what other things can we do with coffee, right? You have drip machine, you have different stuff out there that people love and crave and only talk about. But why isn't a machine like the tried and true percolator out there? Why don't people talk about it as much as I believe it should be talked about? For instance, here's a good example. I brewed a cup of coffee from the percolator, right? And here it is right here. This is the last bit of it. I drank it a couple hours ago, but I did save some for this very reason. And this is a Peruvian. It's a true medium roast coffee. 61 on the color meter for the internal and exterior and interior of the coffee bean. And it's a funky, not funky in a way like an African or even some of the times like Colombian coffees are, but it brews it's very hard to brew this coffee. It's not as simple and easy as it may seem. And those are some of the things that we have to think about, worry about, and take into consideration. But on the percolator, the way that I brewed it, it came out pretty well. It really did. I brewed it for about 20 minutes. It was a 15-to-1, so I went ahead, of course, coffee geek. I measured everything out. So I did the water, then I also did how much coffee in the actual bed, in the basket, and then I just let it roll. I did do a medium grind, which I think those are some of the parameters that you always have to look at when you're actually brewing a cup of coffee. Is that, okay, what are you going to go with? What are you going to start with? And in this case, it was a medium grind off the Baratza Virtuoso, or even the Encore. Same type of burrs and everything. And I just went with that. I don't think the burrs mattered that much, as long as it's a burr grinder, right? But I did 20 minutes brew. I try to turn it down as much as I can, because if you turn the temperature on the stovetop down too much, then it won't actually percolate. It won't actually brew the cup of coffee. So it has to be a certain temperature in order for that pressure to actually lift up, bring up the coffee, and brew the cup of coffee. So those are some of the things that you have to take in consideration when you actually do brew the percolator coffee. I may do a video about it. We'll see. And then I did 20 minutes of brewing. One of the guys, he told me that, like, yeah, just do 20 minutes and he's good to go. So he doesn't have all the gear that I have, but that's fine. He likes what he likes. He does what he does, and he understands that machine. But just a little couple tweaks here and there, and this machine is fantastic. And even with this brew that I did, I didn't do a true proper extraction calculations. Normally whenever I do a 1:15 ratio, the TDS is around 1.5. This time it was like 1.88, 1.99. So it's like a 23, 24 extraction. And then now that I'm drinking it as it's pretty much room temp, I do taste more so the bitterness and over extraction of the coffee. But when I was drinking it hot, piping hot, and even when it was cooling down, it was perfect. And this coffee, like I said, is hard to brew. It took me a lot of different recipes in order to get it right for the Hario V60, and I do have an awesome recipe for that I'll be sharing in the next couple of weeks or whatnot. But the coffee tasted a lot better. even with that ratio, that recipe that I did on Hurry V60 from the jump. So think about if I actually think about, oh, that dog. Nothing's perfect. That's why I usually do these early in the morning. Ali. She won't listen to me. But even from the get-go, it worked pretty well and everything. And that's one of the things that is pretty cool about this whole... Calm down. Come here. Oh, big dog. Man, that thing look pretty bad. I'll get you in. I'll get your infection down and everything, okay? Awesome dog. But even with me kind of like just going out the blue, it still did a pretty decent job. So I think next time when I brew this cup of coffee, I can either keep the exact same grind size and then just do less time, or go even coarser and do the same 20 minutes. Those are the things that you can play around with the machine quite a bit. And I think for ease of use, just for most of the people, I think it'd probably be easier for me to... It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter which way you go about it, but you can get really dialed in coffee a lot easier on this machine compared to a lot of other ones. And it's not going to be too crazy over extracted. Well, in this case, it was over extracted. But again, the point that I'm making is that the coffee tasted different. It didn't taste like something that I would immediately throw away if it's over extracted or under extracted. And it's opened me up to even more things. And I think that's the beauty of really this whole YouTube channel, this thing, because I'm just out here, I'm just talking. I know things, I know what I'm talking about, right? But it's one of those things to where when you have people coming to you and talking to you about different things and piquing your interest, those are some of the things that really help me, guide me, and to understand things even more. And my unique twist about making possibly the best cup of coffee that you can out of the machine, that's where I think I come into play. Not just because I just have the gear, because I want to make it as best and relatable to people as much as possible. And I believe I'm able to do that with putting a little bit more science involved into it, and also trusting your palate and then going about it that way. But this machine is awesome. I like it a lot. I think it's very well underutilized. You don't have to wait till the weekend to use it too. It doesn't take long for you to actually brew a cup of coffee. Just put it on, get ready for work or get ready for your day. And then 15-20 minutes later, you're good to go. So those are some of the things that I did wanted to talk to you about, and in particular to the percolator, how awesome it is, how well it works, and really coming back to the whole question of like, why don't we acknowledge other coffee gears in the specialty coffee world? The overall coffee world, they acknowledge anything and everything, whatever's convenient, whatever works for them. For whatever reason, they know what they like and they use it. And I think that's the beauty of coffee, is that there's so many different gadgets out there that we can use and play around with in order for us to get the best cup of coffee that we think that we can get from our beans that we're using. So those are some of the things, those are some of the stigmas and things I would like to challenge for the specialty coffee community. It's like, what can we do, guys? How can we do better about that? What can we, and not also alienating people. I think that's one of the biggest things that we have to come to play here. Is like, how can we not alienate people? How do we make sure that we are not so much on our soapbox when it comes to coffee brewing, the type of beans that we like, our rituals in the morning? It doesn't really matter. At the end of the day, we're still drinking a cup of coffee. And then hopefully eventually we'll start to come together and just have conversations around coffee. Coffee won't even really be the catalyst It'll just be the thing that just got us there in order to talk to people and to express ourselves. And even we do have a difference of opinion, that's fine. We are just trying to understand each other even more so. So that's what I got on that. Like I said, I'm still gonna be playing around with it. I'll be playing around with a medium grind, medium roast setting on the machine. And then I think light roast will work pretty well on it too. Probably the 20 minute light roast will work perfectly well too. It's so versatile. And I do want to try probably another coffee that I have out there on the machine, but it works really well. I'm going to have fun with it. And then also the beauty of it is just kind of just trying it out, doing things, and then enjoying your coffee. I can geek out all I want, but at the end of the day, you like what you like. And if I'm able to give you something that you will enjoy and understand and have a difference of opinion and even more things in your toolbox, that's what we're going to be working with. So we're going to be doing a recipe with a medium roast. We're going to see how well it works with a medium grind. And we're going to be doing it at a 10 minute, 15 minute, and 20 minutes to see what the extraction is and see what we actually taste in the cup. And then we're going to do it again, probably same coffee, just to see if there's any variations. And we're going to do a coarser grind. And then we're going to do the 10, 15, 20 minutes and see how that really relates. And see how much of a bigger difference does it make. You know, if it does make a difference. I think we're going to go ahead and do it on the EK43 just to keep things a little bit more consistent, because I can do a medium grind on here. I just want it to be a little bit more relatable. So I'll go ahead and do a coarse grind, see how that works. And then I will do a medium grind on the EK43. And then, so what else we're doing? We are doing pretty good. Things are looking pretty good. We're on Buzzsprout right now. Everything's working really good. Life is moving in the right direction. I believe so. We did finish up our recipes for the Amazon coffee that we should be putting online in the next month and a half at the end of the year. The next thing I need to do is work on my ratings, reviews, start getting that going. And then once we get that going, I think it'll work out in a way to where it will make sense for a lot of people. Then of course I still need to do some more videos about like different recipes and all that. So it's going to be a lot of fun. Those are some of the things that I believe that's going to help out everybody do the videos. And then after do the videos, I am going to do, the recipes are done. So I need to figure out a way to put the recipes on Amazon. But yeah, I'll deal with that more than likely next week sometime. And then we'll go from there. But other than that, I'm chilling. I'm doing really good. Life is good. Family is good. And I'm less burnt out. There are still a couple of videos that I want to do and work on for the YouTube channel this week. So I do have a heavily inspired Greek frappe recipe that I tried yesterday, and it was really tasty. So I don't think there's much that I need to change of it. I'll probably take a little bit of the sweetness out of the ingredients. But other than that, I think we're good. Things are moving and grooving. I did have a fail. I did do a caramel roasted coffee type of thing, and it didn't really work out. It took well over an hour for it to really do something. I could have researched it a little bit more, but sometimes I don't like researching. I just like trying it out, see if it works, if it doesn't. But there's still lessons learned. I do know how to properly make caramel now. Stop stirring it as much. But yeah, so what else? What other things are we doing? What other things are we trying to improve on? I don't know. I don't know what else we're really trying to do here to improve on, but I'm just gonna keep going on, at least do my 2-3 videos a week. I do need to work on November videos. Need to edit them and get the YouTube's hard. It's just hard. But yeah, other than that, that's what we got. I just wanted to let you know what's going on in the world of everyday beans, and then we'll go from there. But like I said, I'm here for you. I'm here to try to learn as much as I can in this whole thing, and also just give you information that's helpful. And I think that's going to be the biggest things. And then also I'm going to start going out different coffee shops, kind of getting ideas, talking to different people, really just put myself out there more than my four walls that I use and occupy that you see in these videos and also here in the podcast. So that's what I got. I don't know what else to say. I don't want to bore you anymore or ramble anymore, but go get it. Talk to you later. Enjoy your cup of coffee. Bye.